Just close your eyes. Know the peace within.
Your ultimate presence is eternal. But you come to know your presence as I amness only for a shorter duration in space. Your ultimate presence is in the non-dual state, but you come to know your presence as I amness only in the duality state. Your ultimate presence is timelessness, but your I amness is known only for a shorter duration in space at the duality level. Your ultimate presence is beyond appearances and disappearances, but you come to know your I amness only for a shorter duration with the appearance and disappearance of the form in space. Your eternal presence is already prior to duality, but you come to know your presence as I amness only within duality. Your ultimate presence is prior to form, but you come to know your presence as I amness only through the form in space at the duality level. Since you come to know that you are only through the form within space, you accept that you are the form. By accepting that you are the form, you accept all the identifications added onto the form also to be yourself. By accepting the form to be yourself, you also accept that you are born, that you are going to disappear at the form level. And you are yet to know that your eternal presence is prior to form, prior to duality, prior to appearances and disappearances, prior to time and movements. Your eternal presence is unmoving, and you come to know your presence as I amness through the form which is constantly moving. Your eternal presence is unchanging, but you come to know your presence as I amness only through the form which is constantly changing. All that you know is that you are only the form, you are only the identifications related to the form, and whatever that appears in space is the only reality, and whatever that happens within space is the only reality. Whatever that disappears in space is the only reality. Why? Because you are yet to know your eternal presence. You are yet to know your ultimate presence. You are yet to know your supreme presence, which is beginningless and endless, prior to the duality. By accepting the perceived duality to be the only reality, you remain totally ignorant about your eternal truth, that you are ever here, that you cannot die, as you are never born. So throughout the waking state, whatever the happening around you, you give reality and you accept everything to be real. By accepting everything to be real within duality, you are unable to know the exact reality which neither appears nor disappears, which is beginningless, which is endless, which is eternal, which is neither born, which cannot die. Just now you know that you are yet to know what you are. You know that you are. This knowing your presence as I amness is beyond space. Your I amness is beyond object. Your I amness is beyond form. Your I amness is beyond movement. Your I amness is beyond changes. Your I amness is beyond appearances. Your I amness is beyond disappearances. Your I amness is beyond time. Your I amness is beyond movement. Your I amness is beyond changes. Your I amness is beyond sound. Your I amness is beyond words. Your I amness is beyond world. Your I amness is beyond identifications. Your I amness is beyond cosmos. Your I amness is beyond universe. Your I amness is beyond galaxies. Your I amness is beyond space. Your I amness is beyond duality. This truth you are yet to know. That's why this teaching is going on about your I amness, which is eternally ever present but unknowingly accepting the perceived dreamy duality to be the only reality. Why you remain depressed? Why you remain frustrated? Why you remain tensed? Why you remain perturbed throughout the waking state? Because you do not know where you are. You do not know what you are. Simply by accepting yourself to be the form, to be born, you are constantly trapped by the entire movements of the duality show, which is not you. Simply by accepting the form to be yourself, simply by accepting that you are born, you are constantly trapped by the duality show. How to remain free from tension, how to remain free from depression, how to remain free from disturbances, how to remain free from the perturbed duality state. The only way is to know the observer in you, which is beyond duality. To know the observer, which is ever in the non-dual state, which is never born, which cannot die, the only way is to know the conscious state within, beyond space. Just now you know that you are. This knowing itself is by consciousness. You know that you are. If you are not conscious, you cannot know your presence. Only because of consciousness, you know your presence as I amness. So your I amness is known by consciousness. You appear to be a person in space, so you accept I am as a person. As you are yet to know the consciousness which is beyond space, the consciousness which is beyond duality, the consciousness which is beyond movements, you are accepting the form to be yourself as I amness. Now I am introducing the conscious state within you, which is beyond words, beyond movement. That's why you are closing your eyes and being with yourself. Just now you know that you are. And this knowing is beyond words. Only when you stay beyond words, you are conscious of your presence. Your consciousness is unmoving. This knowing also unmoving. Only in stillness you come to know that you are without words. Your consciousness knows its presence only in stillness, without words. You need not say that I am, I am. You know that you are. So your consciousness, which is beyond space, beyond movement, is accepting itself to be a person, to be the form, once the duality appears. And your consciousness is ever in the eternal state, ever in the ultimate state, ever in the supreme source of awareness. But your consciousness does not know where it is and what it is. The moment you come to know that you are through the form, the world happens, entire object happens, all objects happen, all forms appear. So immediately you are trapped by the form level, object level, movement level, duality show, and you are unable to know where you are and what you are. The moment the duality happens, you are trapped by the duality show through identifications, and you are unable to know that you are already prior to duality state, that you are already prior to the form, that you are already prior to the object, that you are already prior to the world. Your beyondness prior to duality remains unknown to you by accepting yourself to be a person. By accepting yourself to be a person which is not you, how can you remain peaceful? Automatically you remain tensed, disturbed, perturbed, because you are accepting something which is not yourself as yourself. Your I amness is not a person, but you are accepting that you are a person. Your I amness is never born, but you accept that you are born. Your I amness cannot die, but you accept that you are going to disappear along with the form. Your I amness is infinite, but you accept the tiny form to be yourself. Then how can you remain peaceful? How can you remain relaxed? Why you are accepting the tiny form to be yourself? Because you are yet to know the infinite vastness of your conscious state beyond duality. Your consciousness does not know about itself. You are already in the non-dual state. You are already in the unmoving state. You are already prior to form. Still, you go on accept every object to be yourself, every form to be yourself, every knowledge to be yourself, every movement to be yourself, every changes to be yourself, every appearances to be yourself, every disappearances to be yourself, every happening to be yourself. Then how can you remain relaxed? You go on accept which is not yourself to be yourself. You go on accept whatever perceived in space to be real, to be real, to be real. Then how can you remain relaxed? How can you remain peaceful? How can you remain joyful? Inwardly you are already peaceful and joyful. But outwardly you appear to suffer. You appear to struggle. You appear to remain depressed. Why? Because you are yet to know what you are and you are yet to know where you are. Only to know what you are and where you are, now this teaching is going on. Out of great concern about your consciousness only, this teaching is going on. Because you are yet to know where you are and you are yet to know what you are. Your I amness is not a person. It is infinite. Your I amness is not an object. It is beyond object. Your I amness does not depend on the time. It is in timelessness. Your I amness is not a word. It is beyond words. Your I amness is beyond movement. Your I amness is beyond changes. Your I amness is beyond appearances. Your I amness is beyond disappearances. See how ignorant you are about your conscious state, about your I amness, that you are already infinite, beginningless, endless, that you are already the non-dual, that you are already the unborn reality, that you are already the deathless reality. And inwardly nothing never happens to you. Now, how to know that your I amness is not a person, neither born nor can die? How to know? You must know it practically. All this teaching is only to indicate the unreality of the duality. To know the reality, just settle inwardly the way you are now. Simply by closing eyes and knowing the peace, you know the stillness within. This stillness is endless, infinite. It has no beginning and it is unending. Can't describe it. In this stillness only, your consciousness is conscious of itself and your consciousness starts knowing its original state. That's why in stillness with eyes closed, you remain relaxed just now. You remain totally peaceful just now. Why? Because now you are in your original state. Now I help you to know the unmoving state within you. I tell you, your I amness is unmoving. It does not move, it does not appear and disappear. And your I amness, which is consciousness, starts knowing itself only in stillness. But you never settle inwardly, neither know the stillness inwardly, then how can you remain relaxed? How can you remain peaceful? You are already inwardly ever present, but you never settle there inwardly. That's why you are constantly trapped by the duality show, whatever the show may be, right from the beginning of the waking state till sleep happens. And you are neither the waking state, nor the sleep state, nor the dream state. You are the constant observer, you are the eternal observer, you are the unending observer. You always observe. Why your consciousness is accepting itself to be a person once the duality appears? Because it is yet to know that it is already in the non-dual state. Once your consciousness knows that it is already in the non-dual state, then it will not fall a prey to the duality state. Whatever the duality state may be, you simply observe and remain unconcerned. You remain totally unaffected by the duality show, whatever the show may be, provided you settle inwardly, constantly, consistently. Only when you settle in your original state constantly, consistently, your consciousness remains wakeful. Because here, this wakefulness is not time oriented. You cannot say, I remain wakeful for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can't even say anything about your wakefulness or the time or anything, because you stay beyond words and beyond identifications. Just to make you understand, I am using all such words. Because you never settle inwardly constantly, I am using all these words. You know the stillness for a shorter duration and you remain relaxed for a shorter duration. Again you are jumping back into the duality show, getting trapped by the duality show, as if everything is real. And also you accept that you appear along with the waking state. That's why you say, I woke up. And also you accept that you struggle throughout the waking state, as if every happening is real. And also you accept that you disappear along with the dream, as if everything is real. And you also accept that you appear and disappear daily. Why? Because you are yet to know the observer, which neither appears nor disappears, which neither moves nor changes. In your original state, you neither appear nor disappear. Only in the observed dreamy state, you appear and disappear, you appear to suffer, you appear to struggle. In your original state, you are utterly relaxed, already and always. Only in the perceived duality state, you appear to struggle, you appear to suffer, you appear to remain tensed, depressed. Why? Because you are yet to know that you are not the observed duality show and you are only the observer prior to the duality show. Why you are unable to know your original reality beyond duality? Because your consciousness is still sleeping. Why your consciousness is still sleeping? Because still it is accepting itself to be a person. Why it is accepting itself to be a person? Because still it is accepting itself to be the form. Why it is accepting itself to be the form? Because it does not know that it is consciousness. Why it is unable to know its conscious state? Because it does not know that there is a state which prevails eternally prior to the duality. That's why now I am introducing the non-dual state within you, the unmoving state within you, the infinite state within you, the beginningless state within you, the endless state within you. Just now, with eyes closed, you are already in your original state. You remain relaxed now because just now your consciousness is settling inwardly, but it is not settling constantly. Once you know to settle constantly, even when eyes are open, very easily you can wake up totally. This wakefulness is not partial but total. Only when you wake up totally, consciously from the perceived duality, you come to know that you are neither born and nor can die. And you come to know that what is born is a dream state, what is happening is a dream state, and what is disappearing is also a dream state. And you are the eternal observer prior to the happening of the waking state, happening of the dream state, happening of the sleep state, happening of the entire duality state. Only when your conscious wakes up totally. How to wake up totally? Only by settling in this unmoving stillness constantly. How to settle in this stillness constantly? Only by staying beyond words. How to stay beyond words constantly? Only by staying free from identifications which are not you. Now you know why you are unable to know your eternal presence in spite of being there already and always, and how you are trapped by the time-based duality show, movement-based duality show, object-based duality show, form-based duality show, identification-based duality show, unknowingly, unknowingly, unknowingly. At least now, know the conscious state within and know that your I amness is beyond space, beyond movement, beyond words, beyond object, beyond form, and settle inwardly the way you are now. Even when eyes are open, simply observe and use words only when it is essential. Rest of the time be with yourself. Very easily you can wake up totally, provided you settle inwardly beyond words, beyond identifications. Because right now you are in your original destination. Only when you wake up you come to know that whatever appeared and disappeared in space were only an unreal dream, including your form, including the birth and disappearance of the form. Wake up consciously, inwardly, and get to know your eternal presence, unending presence, beginningless presence, the supreme presence, and know that you are already that and always that. Never miss yourself. You are missing yourself through constant sleep at the personality level, and you cannot miss yourself once your consciousness is conscious of itself. That's why I help you to be conscious of yourself inwardly and to know the conscious state constantly inwardly. At least now, know the conscious state inwardly beyond words and wake up totally to realize that you are eternally here, endlessly here, ever here.